guys, Victoria here for Tonic Studios. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a brand new die set, and it's a huge die set, as you can see here. It's called the Legacy Luggage Gift Box, and it creates a wonderful little, well, it's not little, a suitcase and a trunk. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to show you first what it makes, and then we're going to put one together. So let's move the dies out of the way. So for just a luggage case, you can see here we've got proper clasps, corners, straps, a 3D handle, and there we have one fully decorated, and we just open these little clasps at the top, and there you have a full case inside to put whatever you wish: gifts, cards, memory books, photos, anything you would like to send in there. Now let me just close this one up, and then I'll show you others as well. So that's how it just closes there. You can put magnets on if you wish to as well. So this is just a very light blue and craft one here. We've got a little padlock and some little press studs, as you would imagine to see on a briefcase. Now this one I've put the handle a little bit further back to add a little bit more decoration here, but you can bring that handle more to the center here, and I'll show you that in a moment. So that is one that I've created there. The other one features some of the papers. Now you will be getting a pack of 12 by 12 papers. I haven't got the full papers here, unfortunately, to show you everything, but I just thought I'd show you a make here using some of the papers. And you can see you've got United States, Rome, Paris, travel, Italy. And then I've just decorated it with some of the dies from the set. So you get a gift tag here. You've got Paris themed if you want it to be Paris themed. You've got a palm tree there, fragile trip, little suitcase, and your aeroplane. You also have your little buckles there. And then this one, I've actually put a little magnet on it. So just slide that out, and there we have the suitcase inside. Now this is the one that I did actually put on a magnet. So I've put a magnet under here and a magnet underneath the clasp inside, and so that just slides in there and grabs. Okay, and then there's the papers you can see there on the back. Okay, and as you can see, I brought the handle right to the edge of the back part, so it's more central on that one, just to make them all a little bit different. Now, as you'll see, I should say, from these two I've just shown you, we have a deeper edge and a shallower edge. Okay, now you can change that up. So this one here, I've done a shallow edge and a shallow edge to make it a little bit narrower. So if you didn't want it as deep, you don't have to be as deep. And we've just gone with green tones here and some rose gold satin card, and we've got adventure weights, and we've got all the little travel bits and pieces. And we turn it over, we've got the back decorated the same, and then we've got that 3D handle. Now you don't have to have this 3D handle, you could put just a normal handle on, and I'll show you the dies on how to do that. But I love this handle so much, I've put it on all of them because I think it's just a wow stopper of a 3D handle, to be honest. So that's that one there. Now I did say you can make a trunk. So this is the trunk. As you can see, it's deeper, and it's a huge box. Now we've put the handles on the sides, as you would imagine on a trunk, and we've decorated the sides, the back. There's postcards in your papers, so we've used those here, and we've gone red, white and blue, thinking of the UK, but could also be the US. And we've got a postcard there with London, explore, adventure awaits. Now this one has a very clever locking mechanism here. It kind of slides up fractionally, and then you unclip it. It sits in a little slot at the top here, and you can see there that this is a huge box. Now I think this would take a memory book, no problem whatsoever, and I think that would be an absolutely wonderful gift. But we're going to make a suitcase today that, instead of 2 shallows, we're going to go not a shallow and a deep, we're going to go 2 deeps. So it shows you the different ways of making it and having it. So that's what we're going to do today. So these are in the papers when you get them, and like I said, unfortunately I don't have the actual paper pad here to show you, but I am sure on the reveal the girls will be showing you there how that goes. And then this little clasp, it just goes in and then pulls down into place to lock the lid down there. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to put these to one side. So let's move everything out of the way. And I'm going with a colour scheme today that I don't often use. And I'm going like a purpley lilacs and silver today. So I'm going to talk you through these dies first. Okay, guys. So as you can see, it's a full A4 set. I've put it on a magnetic sheet whilst I've been working from it. And instead of going back and two for instructions, I've put little stickers on temporarily so I know, till I know the die set a little bit more. So you'll see this die here. This is your front panel and back panel. If you're doing a trunk, it'll be your lid, your sides and your base. Now it won't be the sides here on this side for the trunk, because we have to build those up with another die. But you will need to cut 8 of these out. Now you're going to get 2 of these on an A4 sheet, so you do the math. It does use quite a bit of cardstock, but it's absolutely worth it. So for a normal case, you would only need 4 of those. Okay, so it depends what you're making. All right. Now when you're doing the trunk, you will need to cut 3 of these and 6 of these. These are joined together, and I'll be showing you that today. Oh, I won't be showing you today in that one because we're doing another case, but I'm sure I'll put another video together for you guys at some point. So here we have an embellishment trim, but it also works well as a hanger to hang the little padlock there off the briefcase. You have this die here which creates the corners for your case, so you're going to need a fair few of those depending on what kind of style you're going for. You have sentiment on a tag, and you have various sentiments, debossed sentiments, road trip and things like that, trip, journey kind of thing for you. Then this is a let's go. This is also a sentiment. Now when you're creating the straps for the front, you'll see this long sentiment here, and the outer part of it are the straps that go across the front. I didn't see this die at first, and one of my dear teamies, and she knows who she is, she said, "Oh Vicky," she said, "you know where it is, don't you?" I said, "Where?" She said, "Look round that sentiment." And I went, oh crumbs, didn't see it for the trees myself. See, this is why we're such a good team. So this makes your strips for the front. You will then overlay it with your little straps here for your buckles. So here's your little buckle for that strap. There's a little die here that creates a little strap for your buckle. oh gosh, so many dies. This die here and this die here and this one here form the lock for your chest, and these little dies here also. And then this die plate here creates that locking mechanism for your briefcase, and they're all on one there, so it makes life a lot easier. This little die here is a spacer die for your lock. Okay, so I think it says you'll need to cut 3 of those. All right, then these pieces and this piece here, they kind of form the strap to cover the front, so it's all adjoining, you've got no gaps, and it all will become clear. This die here you'll need to cut 4 times, and this die here you'll need to cut 4 times, and 2 of these will be glued back to back. This will form part of your handle, and you'll need to cut 2 of this die here for your handle, and you will need to turn one that way and one that way across the top. Okay, they bend inwards, and I will show you that. I'll show you that now because I'm likely to forget. So see this handle here, this die, that is the die I've just shown you. So you'd have one that way, and it forms a loop, and you'll see the loop there where your handle goes in, and then this piece underneath is this die here. Okay, so that's what you'll need to make this 3D handle. But if you wanted to just make a normal handle, you could use this die here with this die here, and just extend it depending on how big you want your handle, and then you would just glue it here and here. You don't have to have the 3D one if you think that's too complicated or you don't like it. I particularly love it. I think it makes it look very authentic. So there's your buckles and your little straps there. So those are those dies there. Okay, so there are other dies. You have this wider one here. You will need to cut 2 of these if you're making the wider section on your case, and this die here. Now if you're making the trunk, you will need this die here, and this is what creates the side of your trunk. So I'll bring that die in again for you to see. Come on, Mr. Trunk. So if I turn that on its side, can you see you have 4? They all join together. So this is this die. So you'll need to cut that 8 times for a trunk. Okay. It's really easy to put together, guys. It looks more complicated than it is, but believe you me, you are going to have so much fun with this set. So with that said, I'm going to push that to one side, and I have all of my prep here. Now I have created 1/2 already, because 1/2 is the same as the other half almost. Okay, so I've got all my little bits and pieces of decorations there in a bag. So let's just put all these to one side. There we go. So as you can see, this is 1/2. On 1/2 you are going to cut a glue tab off, so you don't have that edging there. Okay, and I will show you that now. So I've gone ahead and I've decorated a panel there with that edging, because I was going for a slightly different look with this one. We've got one more panel to add there in a moment. So basically for this one, because we're doing 2 thick sides together instead of a thin and a thick, or 2 thins, just so that we're having a different look. So you'll see on this die here, I've already scored it, you have a glue tab here. So we're just going to add some wet adhesive, and you know me guys, wet adhesive every single time. So let me just unclog this, because I was working till late last night. and I didn't unclog it. So, and it's very warm at the moment, so glue tends to dry quicker and clogs a little bit more in the heat. It can do that in the winter or the summer. So I'm going to place this die on here and just make sure he's all leveled up there. Okay, I'm going to get my precision tool and I'm just going to go over that score line just to give it a little hand there, just to adhere those fibres of the cardstock together so they don't come apart. This is why I'm always drilling home about not using red liner tape for 3D projects. So this one here, we are not going to cut this strip off. So to make this one, we've cut the thicker strip off here. Okay, that's what you need to do on one half. For this half, we need to keep that in place because this is going to be our glue tab to adhere into the back of there. Okay, so you could do that now if you wanted to, or do it as a whole piece, which is what I tend to do. So again, we're adding wet adhesive down this panel. Okay, and then adding this one. So just remember that one of them has that strip cut off and one you keep. If you leave it on and you forget, you can always glue it in on itself, if that makes sense. It's never the end of the world, it can always be saved. Right, so now we have those two pieces. So now we have the wider pieces of these sides, and you'll see you have pieces here. There is a reason there. Okay, so we're just going to add more wet adhesive, and it really doesn't take long to make. Yes, you'll have to cut a few things out depending on your style and how you want it to be, but actually putting the base together, it comes together quite quickly, guys, and then it's just up to you how you want to decorate it. You want to go all out, or if you just want a more simple, more elegant style that doesn't need an awful lot of work. So I think this would be beautiful in wooden papers and having flowers cascading down one side of it. I think it would look so feminine. I've made quite a few, as you can see. I have another one cut ready to make a trunk, and yeah, I've got ideas for this set. So we just glue that last one on there. Okay, now it's up to you at this point whether you want to go ahead and glue that into the back so it's easier to kind of grab and press down, or you can put it together and then add it. But I'm going to actually add it now. So we want wet adhesive on the back of that tab. Okay, and I want a fair bit because I want it to be robust. And then for the easiest way, and this is why I like to do it when it's still flat, is then you can get in and then just quickly check it's in line, which it is, and then you can go over with a bone folder whilst it's flat. It's a lot easier to do it that way than it is adding it once you've created this as a 3D piece. Okay, and we're just going to let that dry a moment before we start manipulating the card. So as you'll see, we have a glue tab on the side here, and this will glue to there. So we don't actually need this bottom tab. So it's an indication there of where you can snip it away. And then we're going to repeat that on the other side. Okay. Right, we don't need those. We want to keep the glue tab at the top. Okay. So I'm just going to add some wet adhesive to this tab. Okay. And then I'm going to just bring that down. And then just press that till I know I can let go. The wet adhesive doesn't take too long to dry. And again, I'm going to add wet adhesive to that tab. Okay, and then bring that one down. I mean, there is no right or wrong or particular order. This is just the order I found that was the easiest, really. Just leaving things time to grab as well. See, as she says, as she walks away, and I didn't hold it long enough. There we go. And then we've got this last glue tab here to add. So we're going to bring that one in. That one's come undone again. I'll grab it in a minute, guys. Just let's do this one. Glue is playing up today because it is warm. So I will just hold it a little bit longer than I normally would. A little bit more in there. I don't want to open it too much yet until I know it's all grabbed, and then we can open it. And then let's glue this last one. There we go. And then let's just hold that for a minute. I hope you guys can see. I am at a funny angle with it being so tall. And then I'm just going to carefully tease it back. There we go. And once you know it's dry, you can then tease that back panel back. And then I can add a little bit more glue on this side because, like I said, the glue is drying very quickly today. It's almost like a little mini heat wave here today in good old sunny Cheshire. It's just going to hold that a minute. If you're wondering what cardstock I'm using, I am using the Basil cardstock from Tonic Studios today, which is a 270 GSM. Now, I found that this is absolutely perfect for this box. 240 will be perfect as well, but I was planning on putting some hefty gifts inside, so I wanted it to be robust. So that's the cardstock I've used. So as you can see, where we have that little marking there on the corner, there's a reason for that. Because this front panel folds in over the top and grabs it. So we just need a little bit of wet adhesive on that corner. And then we want to bring that corner in and just hold it and pinch it until you know you can let go. Now you can line inside your box as well if you want a different colour on the inside. So a little bit more adhesive on this corner, and then I'll hold that in place until I know I can let go. I cannot wait to see what you guys do with this one. I blew my mind when I saw it. Absolutely blew my mind. Just its sheer size. And when you're doing the trunk, oh my days, it's a I will measure it all for you at the end, and then you'll know exactly how big. But again, it depends on if you're doing a deeper side or a shallow side. So as you can see there now, it comes together beautifully. Okay, so decoration. As you can see here, I have gone with that border and added a border down the edge there, and that will be going on that front panel there. Okay, so let's get all our little bits and pieces out. So these are my straps for the front. We will need 4 for the front and back, and then we've got this die here, and I think we'll need 4 of those. I've not done a double one before, so this is new for me. As you can see, the ones I've made already, but I thought, oh well, let's have a little bit of a change up for the last one. So I'll just add this border just for a little bit of something different. And again, I'll be putting all of this together with wet adhesive, guys. So, and I'm just placing that down the edge. There we go. So that's nice and pretty. So we've got front and back the same. So as you can see, these pieces have a thicker end and a tab end. The tab end will be going down the front of your box. Okay, so this covers your lip there. Okay, so as you can see, that covers that area. Now you're going to have to work out where you put in your clasps, where you put in your corners, etc, etc. Now I like to do this bit first. I am going to be putting, am I putting a clasp in the middle or at each side? I think I'm putting one at each side. So these need to come in a little. Okay, so I tend to work out where I kind of want them on one half. Work out your spacings, put your corner there just to gauge it, because we're not going to stick the corners on yet. So I think that will be fine. I'll have a little a locking mechanism there and there. Okay, so, and this is what you do. You just play. You just cut all your pieces and then you have a play. So I think I'll be quite happy with that. So at this point, I am going to glue these 2 pieces because we are going to put a front panel. Now you don't have to if you don't want to. If you have thick cardstock and you think, oh, I don't really want to cut 2 other panels, you don't have to cut 2 other panels. Okay, it does tell you in the instructions too, but if you're going to line the inside, you're going to get away with that. But you would need to cover the tab with your strip, and that's possible as well, because you're going to add that strip just there. So let's put these 2 pieces on and then line the other 2 pieces, and then you can see where I'm going, because although I'm talking the talk, it might not make much sense until you see me doing it. So we kind of want to work out that that one needs to be about there. Okay, so we're kind of getting our spacing right. So with the other 2, we're going to do the same so that we've got them lined up. Okay, so there we go. Like I said before, the deeper edge is going on the inside. Now, it might wander off, so just join it together so you know that you're level. And then bring that in. I'm quite happy with that. Just push that down so it's stuck in place. And then we'll do the same with the other one. Okay. Again, we want that deeper edge on the inside. We want to bring that together and line it up, and then bring that one in, and then you know you're all lined up. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that there. Right, then you're just going to add your strips. Now you can add these pieces here now, or you can wait until you have glued your front on, which is what I am going to do. I think that was my preferred method on the last one I made. And this is trial and error with us all. You know, you'll find a way that works best for you, and you'll see why I'm doing that now. Might not be making much sense at the moment, but we're going to tuck these over like so. Just hold them down in place till they grab, and then we want to add this piece, so we're getting a fluid seal there. Okay, so there's no gaps along here, it's a nice fluid join there. Okay, and then I will do the other one. I reckon many of you got ideas already. I can hear those brain cells ticking. There we go. And just hold that till it's set. So I'm going to lift these back up a little bit because I do want more of a seal. I should have left those up. But you don't have to, but it's just a preferred choice. So again, I am adding, it looks like a lot of glue, but I am just tickling the card. Okay, and then we're going to add that other decorative panel on the back, front, whichever you decide is your front and your back. And then we're going to add a little bit of a adhesive there to glue those back over like so. Just hold them in place till you know you can let go. Okay, and then we're going to add another 2 strips. Okay, and then bring that one down, and if you let it just drop down, it will find its natural place, so you're not going off at a funny angle. Okay, and then the last one. Bring that one down. There we go. Like I say, these are not colours I would ordinarily use. I am not a purple lilac kind of gal, but I quite like these colours together. And that basil cardstock is just absolutely stunning. So as you can see there, you've got your straps at the top, going down the back, going down the front. Okay, so buckles. You can see one I've made up there already, and that will go on the front there. So we'll just put another one together when I can find all my bits and pieces. So where's my strap? Let's have a little look. Did I cut one? I'm sure I did. No. Best of intentions. Vicky thinks she's cut everything out, but I'm missing a little strap, so I will sort that in a moment, guys. So we've got this little buckle, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on there and a little there. I'm then going to slide this so the hook comes through the back, and then glue that in place. Okay, got a little bit of tape still stuck to my die there. There we go. I will sort that little strap out in a moment. Okay, so I want a little bit of foam because I like to raise mine up a little bit just because I can. Okay, a tiny little piece at the end. There we go, and we'll put some on the back of this one. I won't put any right on the end because I will put a little strap on that at the end, but for now so I'm just going to place this at the top. Okay, little faux buckle. I will add a strap to this later, so I'll just pretend it's got a little strap around it because it's easily added. I've not stuck that down at the bottom, but you don't want to see me cutting out lots of pieces. So now where do we go from there? We'll add the corners. Okay, so we've got all these corners made up. Now this corner, it's just a circle with a piece cut out. Just fold the score lines. That piece of tape is going to haunt me. There we go. And then add a little bit of adhesive on that tab area there. Bring it round, and that is your corner sorted. And there'll be nothing stopping you if you've got little bun feet, making little feet here for the suitcase. Like I said, there's a few little ideas I've got going around in the old brain cell. So we shall see. Okay, so let's put all the corners on. Okay, one there. You just need to grab it just for a few seconds. And then we're going to put one on the front. There we go. I say, you will hold it a little bit longer than myself because we want to plod on. Okay. And then we'll just add 2 here to the back. And the last one. There we go. And you can kind of see it all coming together once you get the straps and the corners on. And it's just down to decoration, what you would like to add, whether it's decorative papers, pretty papers, travel papers. So I'm going to put this to one side and we're going to focus now on this handle. So as you can see here, we have this put together already. Okay. So you will need 2 of these, I'm going to call them D rings because it looks like the D, and both sides, okay? And then we have 2 of these. Now how I like to put this together, I like to curve it with the warmth of my finger because card will naturally curve to the warmth of your finger. And then I'm going to put glue on the square section at the back, overlap it to the line on the other one, so you've got them back to back, okay, and they can be drying whilst we do the next bit. Okay, just let them dry a minute. We're going to loop them through this D-ring that way, and then we're going to add adhesive to this section here, and we're going to bring one to the other, and then we're just going to pinch them to that score line, so this bottom bit is still loose. Okay, and then just pinch those till you know they've grabbed. And then in the set we have these little like rivets. Now you can put them on foam, or you can put them, if you're going to shape them, put a little piece of foam underneath. Ordinarily I would put them on a sponge mat, dome them with a ball tool, and then put a little tiny bit of foam underneath. But today I've just glued them flat. Okay, so now we have 2 identical. Right, so this is the top part of your handle. Or the sides of your handle, and you'll need 2 of these. There we go. And then we'll need 2 of these, which again I shape with my fingers. Now this is how I put mine together. You might not want to put it together like this, but this is how I put mine together. So we want wet adhesive on all your little teeth, as I call them there, and then you want to take one edge and take it across these tabs. So line it up, pinch it and hold it on the end two tabs first. This gives you a little bit more leverage of shaping it over the rest of them without it coming apart. Okay. And make your way over that arched area, and you'll see it comes in line with this score line. Okay. So once you're happy with that, we want to glue the next one over that existing one, but turning it round so that we've got that glue tab on each end. So you're going to take this one up to that score line, and you're going to bring that down there. We're then going to add this other one to the other side. So clever. So clever this. Take it to that score line, like we did before with the other one. There we go. Just pinch that together till you know you can move on. Oh, butterfingers. Not heard that saying in years. Butterfingers. There we go. And then just keep pinching it till you know you can move on to the next part. Like I say, you will be taking a lot more time. There we go. When you're happy with that, then you can move on to the next step. So as you can see, you've got this section here. What we want to do is we want to curve that end in, and we want to add adhesive to the end of there, and we want to slightly bend this so it looks like a banana, and we want to glue that end onto that tab like so, and just hold it. Then you're going to pinch this other end over and do exactly the same thing, and then we're going to stick that end to that end. Okay, and then hold that for a minute. But before we do that, we're going to add these rings. Nearly got me. Nearly got me. Okay. I've actually glued these rings in a different direction, have I? No, I haven't. Right, so do that again. We'll glue that down. There we go. Yeah, don't forget to add your D-rings at that point. Okay, and then hold that together. Nearly did a blooper. There we go. So then we want to add glue to those little teeth underneath. Okay, like so. And then we want to bring that down in line, so bringing that score line to that edge like that, and just hold it and tease it, bring it into place. Do one side at a time. You will have to hold it for a little while, guys. Bring that in, and then try and tease this side in place. as well as holding the other side. There we go. You will have to hold it until you know it's grabbed. And because obviously it's a curve, you just have to hold it a little while. Because curves do like to pull against themselves. There we go. And then I'm going to just tip it and tease it on this other side. There we go. And there you have your handle made. Okay, so I have done a blooper and I've put my foil on the underside instead of the top, but we can add another one, it doesn't really matter. So that being said, I can take those off so that we've got some adhesion there. So I am going to add my handle to now. I'm going to show you now. You can have your handle towards the back, which would allow you space to add this little locking mechanism, which I'll show you how to go together in a moment. So you'd have one there, and you'd have the other one there, like that. Okay, or you can add added magnets. You can bring that closer to the edge so it's more central, like so, and then you could put a lock in the middle and have a magnet. I prefer that myself, but this is completely up to you. So I found that strap for that buckle. Yay. So let's turn him around so we've got the front. This is just a little strip that just glues back on itself, and then I add a little bit of adhesive just on the inside. I knew I'd cut one out. Thought I was going bonkers then. So we just slide that into place, and I think we're going up there with it. There we go. And then I can add a tiny little slither of foam to the underside of that, and then it'll look the same as the other side. Oh, getting sticky tape stuck to sticky tape. There we go. So let's bring that down into place. There we go. Just hold that till it's stuck in place there. So they're kind of uniform. There we go, that's better. Right, so I just need to make my mind up, guys, where I'm actually going to add my lock, because this is just too many decisions on a very warm day. So I personally think it looks better there with a lock in the middle, but because I have done two wide sides, it's quite bulky, so I think it's going to need a little bit of strappage to hold it together. Now you could add magnets if you'd want to. I am just adding these clasps. Now I need to show you how to make these clasps, don't I? So you see you have a curve on one side and more of a square edge on the other side. The square edge is going to butt up to the edge of the box. This one has two slits in the sides, and we have this little die here. This is going to act as a holder for your strap. So I'm just going to try and tease that in there, and then tease the other side in, and then we can add a little bit of glue onto the situation to hold it in place. So let's bring that in. little fella, come on through. I did have long nails. I always like long nails, and I've been gardening and I've lost them all, so I'm not too pleased, but the garden looks better. So I'm struggling picking things up now because I'm used to having nails. So there we go. And then that time of the year, isn't it, where we're out in the garden. So we're just going to glue that on itself, and as you can see there, it acts as a little strap. Okay, so that's the strap part, so you can see it matches that one. Then we have this other one. Again, we've got more of a square finish and more of a curved finish. The square finish will go against the edge of the box. So we have this die here, and that's that plate I was telling you that cuts all the bits out for your strap in one go. So that's going to slide in through there. So we're going to put a little bit of adhesive on the top of that strap there. Okay. And then we have another little piece. Now it could be in a different colour if you want it to be. I've just gone for the same colour just to give it that matchy finish. Okay, and then this part goes inside that part, and then that just lifts up slightly and holds your box in place. Okay, so I just need to work out where I'm having what, where and how and who. So I think I'm going to have my lock there and there and there and there. I think that's where I'm going to go. Or I could go right on the edge. Let's have a look, see what it looks like on the edge, guys. Because I've not put one on the edge before. Will there be room to bring that handle down? This is all trial and error, guys. You just have to find where you're happy with. I mean, I don't say there's anything stopping you putting two locks in the middle either, because we're all playing. We're looking for a different look from the others that we've made. I think I might put two locks on the middle, and then that will lift up over the top of the locks. Yeah, I think I might do that. Right, so let's stick this in place. That's half of my time taken up, you know, making my mind up. Right, so I'm going to put that next to that, and then I'm going to put this other one along the edge. Of that one. So I like all my boxes to look different. Give it that little bit of... Don't like to make the same thing twice, if that makes sense. I like them all to be a little bit different. So just hold that down there. I think we're all the same though, aren't we? When we've done one thing one way, we like to move on and do it another way. Right. So you're going to obviously give yourself a little bit more time than me. I'm just wanting that to dry a little bit quicker. And then obviously you've got this other counterpart. So I'm going to add adhesive to that. To bring it in together. I'm going to slide that through, and then I'm going to place that down right on the edge there, and then take it out whilst I hold it. So it's gone right on the edge. Okay, and then we'll get the other one and do the same. You don't actually have to add a handle if you wanted it more like a little treasure box. It's completely up to you. So I'm going to squeeze these together to know where I want that placement. And there will do nicely. That one could have been forward a little bit further. It's gone off kilter there for me, but it's there now. So right, let's press that down. And then they slide in through there like so, and then they just pull back. You're going to make sure yours are well and truly stuck before you do that, and that holds it in place. I do like to add a magnet, but you're going to find your own way. And then these for me I like on the edge of there, so it's more in the central, and they don't interfere with the lock because it's under the handle. So I'm going to add adhesive to one, and again let's find that placement because we want it more or less on the edge there, and then just hold that in place. Going to carefully lift up that edge, and then bring that down, and we want that on the edge, just so it's more in the middle. And again, just hold everything down till you know it's got the right. Like I say, I've not done one that's like the two thicker halves, and I thought, well, let's have a go, because it's nice to do something different, and it shows you the different ways of creating it, you know. So, and then I think I can add these back on here. So I'm just going to add that back on there. There we go. Just finishes those little straps off a bit better. And then it is down to decoration. So I have a whole host here of sentiments we've cut, and some little stars and all sorts. So let's see what we've got here to play with. So we have, for this one, fragile. We have a tag if we want to add a tag. I've got fragile for the back, and I've got two fragiles for the front. So I think the idea was to have those two like so. I was going to have let's go in the middle there, and then I was having that one there, and are we going to have travel there? Okay, going to have a little aeroplane that came out of the waist here, and that's going to be the front. So I'm not putting anything on foam pads, I'm just going to add it with wet adhesive. So we're going to add that there. We're going to have I mean, could you imagine this done in browns, and it be Paddington Bear's case? You've got a little Paddington Bear to put inside it. Could be a briefcase. for your husband if he works in an office and takes a briefcase to work each day. Could be a colouring case for children with little colouring books and pencils inside. I am going to do the trunk, and I'm going to do it as a girl's vanity case. So there are different ideas, and of course I think it would be perfect to hold a memory book, especially the trunk. So I'm not adding any 3D foam tape for this one. They're all going on flat. We've got the depth there with the buckles. And then we're just going to place that one in the middle. Okay. And then we're going to flip him over and we're going to decorate the back. So again, we've got fragile here. Got a palm tree here. We've got an aeroplane there. We've got explore there. Road trip there. And then we've got a little suitcase there. So we're going to have that on the back. Okay. So I think we'll have that at an angle. I think we're going to have road trip down there. Have that sunny palm in the middle. Have a little suitcase just there. Have that aircraft there. And then we're going to have explore just there. So hold that in place till I know it's grabbed. There we go. And then there's some room down the sides for a couple of things. So I've got another let's go. So I'm going to put that at an angle on the side there. I'm going to put another tower on the side. Again at a squinty angle. There we go. And then what sentiments have I got left? For you. So I'm going to have that on the top there. And just hold that in place. There we go. I've got a trip. So I'm going to have that on the other side, and I will tip it to show you. I know it's difficult to see at this angle. And then take me away, which I am going to add here. Just make sure they've well and truly grabbed. Okay. And then we've got a little lock that we've cut on both sides, and we've used that little decorative strip. I am going to hook that around the front, underneath that handle there. Or should we have it on the, should we have it on here? I'm going to have it on the front, guys. So let me just thread that up through there. Yeah, I'm going to put it there. And then just stick those two pieces together. There we go. Nearly there, and then I'll show you. Always difficult when it's at an angle like this, isn't it? So, and then we have a tag which I will add later, and I'm just going to have that now I thought I had cut a few more of those little studs, but you can see if you want to, you can add those studs on the corners at the top or the front, up to you. But I did have these little stars, and I think I'll add those later, those little stars, because they are tiny, and I'll just scatter them around. So there we've got our little padlock here on the front. I am going to add that little gift tag onto the handle with some twine. And then we've got our fragile let's go travel, a little aircraft there. We've got trip and a tower there. We've got let's go on the side there. I might add another little something there. And then the back we've got fragile road trip palm tree aircraft. And that, guys, is this fantastic set. I just love this Legacy luggage set. I think you're going to be making so many different things with it. Of course, you can line the inside with a different colour, as we said earlier. So just a brief recap. This is the one made with the two thicker sides. This is one with the two shallow sides. So side by side, you can see there how different they are. Now, tape measuring. If you're going to do two deep sides together, the depth of that is going to be 3.5 inches, and the length of that is going to be just about 7 1/8, and then it's just under 5 in depth that way. So that's if you're doing two deep pieces together. Now the depth of this one is 2 1/4. Okay, so it's the same height, but it's 2 1/4 in depth. So then we've got the other one where we have a deep back and a shallow bottom, and that is 3 inches, and of course the other measurements are the same. And then we have the trunk, not forgetting our other case as well, and then we have the trunk. Now the trunk can be made this way with a shallow lid, or it can be made with the deep lid like we've just done with this case. So if you could imagine a deep lid on the top there, it would add more height. Okay, so I haven't done that one yet. That is on my list to do, to make one with a deeper lid. But if I tell you how tall this is, it's 6 1/8 tall, and obviously all the other measurements are the same. So you've got 7 1/8 in length there, and and the depth, do the depth again, which is 5 inches. So you can see a whole plethora of trunks that we've got here. I absolutely adore all of them. I will add that tag later, but as you can see, that's what we've made today. Move those ones out of the way. That's what we've made today, and I just think you're going to have so much fun with this die set. I've got so many ideas. I'm bursting at the seams to make more. And obviously I'll share with you what I put together. But I'd just like to say, if this interests you today, head on over to the Tonic Studios website where you'll be able to purchase this. If you're a TCK subscriber, don't forget you will get your 10% discount. And I'd just like to say thank you very much for joining me today. I will catch you all soon. Happy crafting!